you share your screen, you can put. Let's start the video.
The video.
Oh, let's start with me. Hello, boys and girls. I'm so happy to see you. Can you hear me? Wave if you can hear me. Okay, yesterday we had some problems, but today we're going to get on with our program and have a great time. All right, here we go. Howdy, buckaroos and little cowpokes. I'm so glad to see all of you back here to experience more adventures in Catusville. Today, this town has a very special mission. It is to remind you that you have been called to follow Jesus. Let's start our time together with prayer. Please bow your heads. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for your love, your care, and understanding. Be with us as we learn more about following you. Bless all the boys and girls that are here, and I pray for those that are still probably getting on. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. All right, we're going to sing. Everyone stand up now. I can see you. Before I couldn't see you. I want to see everyone standing up. And I want you to sing so loud that the miners that are deep in the mines, they can hear you singing. Don't forget to follow the motions in the song. Here it goes. Stay standing up. Now we're going to sing We Are Different. I want to remind us that song is going to help us to know that we're going to be different for Jesus without worrying about what other people may say or think. Do you remember how we learned yesterday about John the Baptizer? Those of you that were here on Sunday, I should say, how he was called to be different. It's okay to be different, just like John the Baptizer was different. Remember, pick a partner and do the motions for the song. Here it goes. Sing nice and loud.
Clap your hands and stomp your feet and give yourself to God. Yee-haw, yeah, we are different. Yee-haw, yeah, we are unique. Yee-haw, yeah, we are different. Yee-haw, yeah, we are unique. When we choose to be a Christian, people think we're strange. Swing your partner round and round, let's praise His name. When we choose to be a Christian, people think we're strange. Swing your partner round and round, let's praise His name. Yee-haw, yeah, we are different. Yee-haw, yeah, we are unique. Yee-haw, yeah, we are different. Yee-haw, yeah, we are unique. When we choose to be a Christian, people see us new. Just wave your hands up all around, 'cause I, me, and you. When we choose to be a Christian, people see us new. Just wave your hands up all around, Christ died for me and you. Yee-haw, yeah, we are different. Yee-haw, yeah, we are unique. Yee-haw, yeah, we are different. Yee-haw, yeah, we are unique. Yee-haw, yeah, we are different. Yee-haw, yeah, we are unique. Yee-haw, yeah, we are different. Yee-haw, yeah, we are unique. Yeah, we are unique. Yeah, we are unique. Yeehaw!
That was great. I could see some of you singing. I saw Rachel with her friends and they were just moving, and some of the rest of you too. It's so great. I'm so glad that you are enjoying the song. Now, you can sit down now. You know, there's a story in the Bible about a man who is known for being faithful to God's calling, and his name was Abraham. When God calls us to be faithful, we need to be faithful just like Abraham. Buckaroos and little cowpokes, God calls us to be 100% faithful to Him. More important, however, is the fact that God is always faithful to us. Don't ever forget that. Today you will be learning about how Abraham was faithful to God's calling. Since I have appointed all of you to be my deputies in training, show your faithfulness by carrying out our deputy in training duties. Let's stand up and raise our right hand, and we're going to repeat our deputy in training. Okay, stand up. We're going to do our deputy in training, and repeat after me. You may your mic, you're not don't have your mics on, but I'm going to see your mouths moving that you're repeating after me. I promise to uphold the laws of Catusville. I promise to be the best deputy that I can be. I promise not to eat anything that I find on the ground behind a horse. I promise to answer God's calling wherever it takes me. Good job. I like what I saw. I saw mouths moving that many of you were saying our saying our pledge that we are. All right, you're answering God's call. Yeehaw. Can someone tell me, now this, you can unmute yourselves because I want you to answer. Can someone tell me the name of the character that we had on Sunday, not yesterday, that we talked about? Who remembers? Oh, you can open your mic and tell me who the character was. Who remembers the character we had? Anybody remember? Tammy the tarantula. Some of you may not have been here on Sunday. Tammy the tarantula. Now remember, she was different. She was different. She knew how to be a different spider. Well, I have another friend that I want to introduce to you. And today, I'm going to introduce you to my friend who is a groundhog, okay? And he is a prairie dog, excuse me, prairie dog Pete. Now, prairie dogs are part of a big family group of or clans that work together to take care of each other. If prairie dog could talk, this is probably what prairie dog would say to you. You are probably very familiar with some of my relatives squirrels, chipmunks, and marmots. Did you know that I am a vegetarian and I only eat herbs and grasses? I also love to slurp up water that drips from plants. Mmm, yummy. I like to make tunnels under the ground. Why, I might even have a tunnel under Catusville. During the winter, I sleep a long time from January to April. Even though I sleep a long time, that doesn't mean I move slowly. When I'm awake, I can move really, really fast. I can even run 35 miles an hour. And if something happens that my family is in danger, there's something else that I do. I can make a loud sound that every prairie dog around will hear and know that they need to go and hide in a tunnel. That's what I do to make things nice for my family. Okay, now, just like Prairie Dog Pete, you have been called to be faithful because that's what we're going to be focused on today. We are called every time now you hear someone who says that we are called, I want you to say, called to be faithful and say yeehaw. Okay, unmute yourselves. Here's an unmute time because I'm going to say it and I want you to answer with the call. Okay? All right. We are called
We are called
All
different.
be faithful. Yeehaw. Now I'm going to say
Yeehaw.
now I'm going to say we are called. Now you're not going to say we are called. I'm going to say we are called, but you're going to answer me by saying called to be faithful. Yeehaw. Okay? We are called. Now answer me.
Called to be faithful.
Okay, do it. Do it again. Here we go. We are called
To be different.
called to be faithful.
Yeehaw.
Okay, some of you are saying different. Yeah, we are called to be different, but today we're going to focus on being faithful. Great job. All right, buckaroos and cowpokes. Now, I think okay, we're going to go to the next slide. Here we go. Okay, you can go ahead and sit down. And that show was okay, looks like we missed something. We're supposed to sing a song. Okay, so here we're going to sing a song. All right, get ready. You can stand up. I want to see you moving around. I have decided.
I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. Though I may wander, I still will follow. Though I may wander, I still will follow. Though I may wander, I still will follow. No turning back, no turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind not go with me, still I will follow. Do not go with me, still I will follow. Do not go with me, still I will follow.
Hello.
Turning back, turning back. Will you decide now to follow Jesus? Will you decide now to follow Jesus? Will you decide now to follow Jesus?
What?
Turning back.
Okay, you can go ahead and sit down now. That sure was a pretty song. Makes me want to be more faithful at being faithful, if you know what I mean. Now, buckaroos and little cowpokes, I'm sure by now you know that we are learning that we are called to be faithful. Yeehaw! That's what we're doing. Now, you're sounding great out there. You know, I wonder what our dear friends Jim Bob and Joe Bob learned about being faithful. Let's watch and see what they learned. Here we go. Here's our friends.
At this morning's worship, Ma was reading us stories about Abraham. She read how Abraham almost sacrificed Isaac. She also told us about the 3 mysterious visitors that came to visit, and even how God called Abraham to get up and move to a whole new place. All this just seemed like too much. Then Ma explained that God calls us to be faithful to Him, no matter what. She said we talk more about Abraham's faithfulness that evening. We had prayer and repeated 2 Timothy 1:9. God has saved us and called us to a holy calling. Joe Bob and I were walking down the street trying to figure out why God had called Abraham to do so many difficult things. All those things Ma had mentioned that morning seemed pretty scary. It didn't make sense, but then we remembered that Ma said God promises always to be faithful to us. As I was deep in thought, we ran into Wally, our other bestest friend in Catusville. Now, one thing you need to know about Wally is that he is very trustworthy. Wally told us that he was on his way to the store to look at a yo-yo that he was saving up for. He needed 2 more dimes before he could buy it. Wally told us of the different jobs he was doing to earn money for the yo-yo. He also showed us the different tricks that he planned on learning once he got his yo-yo. Suddenly, a bright idea popped into my mind. Well, maybe Joe Bob wasn't convinced that my idea was so bright. I explained to Wally that Joe Bob and I would be willing to loan him the 2 dimes if he agreed to pay it back to us. Wally told us that he was getting paid a whole quarter in 2 days. He would come to our house and pay us by 5 o'clock on Friday. We shook on it and gave Wally 2 whole dimes. Later at home, Ma noticed a distressed look on Joe Bob's face. Joe Bob explained how we had loaned 2 dimes to Wally. He was worried that Wally wasn't going to keep his promise and pay us back, even though we really knew Wally would never want to hurt us. Ma smiled and told us more about how Abraham was called to move. She told us about how Abraham and Lot decided that they needed to separate because there wasn't enough room for both of their herds. So, Abraham uprooted his entire family and moved to a different place. That could not have been easy. But you know what? God blessed Abraham because he was faithful to him. Ma explained how God is always faithful to us. Friday afternoon, Joe Bob and I played hide and seek with Maggie Lou to help keep our mind from worrying that Wally would forget to pay our 2 dimes back. As 5 o'clock got closer, my faith started to turn to doubt. We wondered where Wally was. We had trusted him. Finally, we heard Ma call us for dinner. We said goodbye to Maggie Lou and went home, hoping that Ma wouldn't ask us about the money. When we got inside, Ma had a wonderful surprise for us. It was our faithful friend Wally. He came while we were playing in the woods with Maggie Lou, and of course, he paid us back our 2 dimes. We learned an important lesson that day. Since God is our Father and Creator, He will always be faithful to us. I learned in 2 Timothy 1:9 that it's true, when we are faithful to God, like Abraham was, God will do amazing things through us too.
Well, Jim Bob and Joe Bob sure did learn something about having a faithful friend and how God was faithful to Abraham and will be faithful to you as well. Now, yesterday we found a gold nugget. Remember, we have gold nuggets here in Catusville, but we know our gold nugget comes from the Word of God, a special message that God has given to us. Now remember, when God speaks to us through the Word, that's truly a gold nugget. One even more precious than the gold that we have here in Catusville. All right. Now we had our Bible verse, our gold nugget, and we're going to repeat it. So I want you to repeat after me. Now you're on mute, but I want to see your mouths moving because you're going to be repeating our gold nugget. All right? And it says, Jesus, who has saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to His own purpose and grace. Okay, that's quite a bit, because each day we're adding something more to our gold nugget. And remember, it's found in 2 Timothy 1:9. So let's try it. Say it one more time. Okay. Jesus, who has saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to His purpose and grace. 2 Timothy 1:9. Okay. Well, buckaroos and little cowpokes, it's time to mosey on. I have just a few more things to tell you. First of all, following God is the most important job a person can have. So it's important to always do your very best. Second, God doesn't just call us to follow Him. He stays right there with us to help us to answer His call. And finally, buckaroos and cowpokes, we are called to be faithful. Yeehaw! I want to see those hands go up. Yes, we are. Let's listen to our campfire story for today. Here we go. Listen to the story. You will enjoy it.
Grandpa, why are you dressed so funny?
And where did you get that hat?
Today my name is not Grandpa, but Abram, a man who was called by God.
What does it mean to be called Grandpa? I mean, Abram.
Well, let me tell you a story about when God called me.
Okay,
we're ready to listen.
All right. Once upon a time, I lived with my family in a town called Renton. It was a busy place with lots and lots of camels and donkeys and horses. My father owned a trading business. Many cattle. But Father was growing old, and so he asked me to take over the business.
Do you have a wife and lots of children, Mr. Abram?
Oh, no children, but a beautiful wife. Oh, Sarai, a very beautiful wife. All was going well until my father died. That same year, I heard the voice of God speaking to me.
God spoke to you? In His own voice?
Yes, Fanta. God called me by name. Abram, he said. Abram, I am calling your name and asking you to move from this country, from your people and from your father's household. I want you to travel with me to a land I will show you.
Wow! So God called you to go off on a journey right into the unknown. You told him no, didn't you?
Well, I did think a little bit about arguing with him, at least a little. But how can you argue with God when he himself stops by your house and talks to you like you would talk to one of your best friends? I listened, and I asked a lot of questions.
Questions? Does God answer your questions too?
Well, actually, Fanta, he kind of ignored my questions and told me more about what he wanted me to do. He said that he was asking me to go on this trip. He was going to make me into a great nation, he said, and that he was going to bless me and my family in ways that would be a blessing to all the other people who lived on Earth.
All the people of the earth would be blessed by you?
That's what he said. And all the people of the earth will be blessed by you.
What did your wife Sarai say? Was she excited about moving?
Oh, not at all. She had so many friends and wanted to stay right there in Haran.
So what did you do? Go on the journey alone? Or did you convince her to come along?
Well, when I explained that it was God himself who was doing the asking, Sarai, my wife, offered to start packing. She believed, and that was it. In just a few weeks, we had sold the business and started off following God. All the people we had collected in Haran, including my nephew Lot, his family, it made a pretty large caravan heading toward the land that would be our new home.
Did God give you a map or a cool GPS?
No map, no GPS. When God calls, he never provides a map. Just the promise that he will go with you and show you where to go.
That's a pretty awesome promise. It's kind of like being blindfolded and spun around several times and then told to walk across the room without bumping into something. I'd be afraid.
We did that once at school. When I was blindfolded and walked all alone, I ran into a desk. Ow! And then one of my friends held my hand. I did just fine.
Did you have any other adventures?
Oh, it's pretty important to have someone hold your hand. But even when you're following God, you'll have to do some pretty scary adventures. On our trip, we met robbers. We ran out of water, had to dig a well, and we lost some animals before we finally felt we were where God wanted us to be.
Where did God take you?
All the way to a place you know today as Israel. We called it the land of Canaan. It was like a land flowing with milk and honey. It had everything a family would want. But then the rain stopped. Our crops died. And we were all hungry, very hungry.
What did you eat? And what about your animals? What did they eat? Potatoes? Seems like potatoes are okay even when they're wrinkled.
Did you carry a lot of seeds and food in your luggage?
Let me tell you about our luggage. We took lots of dried food, many different kinds of seeds, barley, wheat, grass, all the things that we could grow to feed our animals. And we took plants, all wrapped tightly in cloth so that they'd stay alive until we could plant them in God's new land. Also, we took cloth and hides for our tents. We took cooking kettles and clothes for cold and hot weather, and head coverings to keep the sun from burning our heads and the rain from washing us away, like my hat.
Tell us one of your adventures.
Well, one year there was a horrible drought in our new land.
What did you do when the drought came?
We went south, down to the country of Egypt. I had heard that there was food growing along the Nile River.
Did you enjoy that trip?
For a while, until the king, they call him Pharaoh, decided he wanted to carry off my wife Sarai as his wife. She was just too beautiful. Wow! If God hadn't rescued us from Pharaoh, oh my, I'm not sure what would have happened. Oh, and then there was the time we had to go to war.
To war? Did you have guns and tanks?
No guns, no tanks. But by then I had 300 servants. They were all trained as soldiers, and they knew how to use bows and arrows and swords. And several kings from nearby towns came into our camp and kidnapped my nephew Lot and his family. When we heard the news, I called all 300 of my servants, and we rode off to rescue Lot.
Did you win? I would have helped. I have a bow and arrow.
Oh, it would have been lovely to have you helping, Fanta. God used us to win the war, and we were able to bring everyone home, along with all the cattle and other things the enemy had stolen.
When you're following God, you can do almost anything, right? And what was your most favorite adventure?
Oh, remember that I told you God promised to make me a great nation? Well, Sarah and I still hadn't had any children, and I was almost 100 years ancient.
You're 100 years old.
Ooh, that's a little late to start a family, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then one day, several men came up to our tent. And when their leader spoke, I thought his voice sounded familiar, like God had sounded many years ago back in Haran. He told me that Sarah and I were going to have a baby boy, and that his name should be Isaac. Then he said that since we were now going to be starting a great nation, both of us needed new names. He said I would be called Abraham, and Sarai would now be called Sarah.
You were 100 years old?
Mm-hmm. And Sarah was 90 when baby Isaac was born.
I wish I could have come to that celebration.
Mr. Abraham. I guess I should call you Father Abraham. You've sure had a life full of adventures with God. Can I have that kind of life too?
Fanta and Wendy, God calls each of you, just like he called me and Sarah. He has a plan for each of us, and he's eager to lead us on a life journey filled with adventures. Oh, and by the way, no matter how hard the enemy tries to give us trouble, God makes sure we always get the victory.
Wow, what a great Bible story. Abraham was faithful to God. When he was asked to leave his home, he did just what God asked him to do. And God was faithful to Abraham by protecting him. Wow, that reminds me that God has called us all. What? Called to be faithful. Yeehaw! Okay, I want you guys to say it. I want to see those hands going. God has called to be
To be faithful.
to be faithful.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. Now, I want to say something that I see Rachel and her friends, they have their cowboy hats on. And I told you guys before that I want you to have your little kerchiefs and your hats when we meet each day. So if you don't have them today, tomorrow when we meet, I want you to have your kerchief and your hat on, okay? Well, we're ready to go to our next place. We're going to go to the trading post.
Excuse me.
I wonder what we're going to be doing there. Let's see, okay? All right, we're going to go to the trading post. We'll talk later.
Welcome, Buckaroos. It is good to see you back here at the trade post again. Today we are exploring the idea that God has called us to be faithful. You will be hearing the story of Abraham and learning how he was willing to leave the comfort of his home and follow Jesus to the place he was called to be. I have some special guests who are going to be helping me today. Come on, Noah. Come on, Junior. Say hi, boys and girls.
Hi, boys and girls.
But first, we need to wash our hands so that the art project stays smudge-free. So, Junior, you are going to go first and show the little boys and girls how we do it. Make sure you scrub your hands real good. Go ahead. Yes, and make sure you guys are scrubbing your hands, scrubbing every area of your hands and making sure that they are perfectly clean. If you guys do not have the option of washing your hands, make sure that you have some hand sanitizers in the house that you scrub every area. And you can use the special song, the ABC, A, B, C, D, while you're washing your hands. Good job, Junior. You dry your hands. And Nema, it is your turn, and do the same. Make sure you're scrubbing. Put your hands in there. Nice and good. Put them in the water and scrub so that every area is nice and dry. Dry every area. Good job. Good job. Now I'm going to do mine as well so that we are nice and protected while we are in this pandemic. Good job. You see, you scrub every area of your hands. Nicely done, boys and girls. Good job. God is calling us to be faithful too, just like Abraham. We're going to practice it right now. I am going to say, we are called, and the kids are going to say, called to be faithful, and at the end we'll do a big yeehaw! Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Good job. We are called.
Called to be faithful.
Yeehaw! One more time. We are called. Called to be faithful. Yeah! Good job, boys and girls. Today we are going to be making a Catusville world bird. It will fly as if it doesn't know where it is going. So I'm going to give some quick directions of what we are going to be doing. And Nema, the big sister, is going to be helping out her little brother. Remember always, when we're using a sharp object, to have somebody helping you all the time. So, you can download the material at www.adventistvbx.org. So we're going to get to making our project of the day. So Nema, you're going to be cutting. You're going to go ahead and start cutting. And Junior, you're going to go ahead and start cutting your paper. Remember, you're going to cut along the solid lines, only the solid lines, okay? So let's cut together. Okay, let's see. You got the scissors? So you cut right along over here. Let's see you cut. Good job. Very good. So we're going to cut right along the solid lines.
It's in day
And we're
2.
gonna do a real quick one. So while they're doing theirs, they don't have to do theirs as fast as I am doing it. All right? And when we will be done, it will look something like this. You would have cut all through the solid lines and right through the tips at the bottom, because this is what we're going to be using to fold and make our whirlwind. All right, good job for the demonstration. Good job. So you can put this one down, okay? And then after you have done the cutting, then it is time to do the folding and make the whirlwind. Okay. So Junior, oh, go ahead, Nema, you keep on cutting. So now it is our turn to fold, okay? So this goes like this. When you can see it gives you the signs of what it is you're supposed to be folding. So we're going to fold it according to the letters that it has given us. So fold the letter A, Junior. Yeah, there we go. Fold the letter A inward. And then we fold the letter B. Very good. Good job. And then the letter C, which was at the bottom, like that. Okay? And by the time we are done, we should have something that looks like this. You have folded both letter A and letter B and letter C, and only D and E are left, okay? So when we get to this point, you can decorate it any way you like. So Junior, go ahead and decorate your whirlwind. Take a different color and decorate it real nice. And Naima is using markers. Use different markers. So while they're decorating, remember, we folded both the A, B, and the C at the bottom. The D and E, the D goes to the front and the E goes to the back. So it looks like a whirlwind. And when it is nicely done, this is the decorated and the finished product. Boys and girls, look at that. Isn't that not pretty?
It is pretty.
Ah, you see? So this is an easy craft to do. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed doing our whirlwind. Ready to fly? Ask your mom, your dad, grandma or grandpa to help you so that you can drop the whirlwind, and let's see if this works. All right, Junior, Nema, raise it up, raise your whirlwind. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's see which one works. Good job, boys and girls. Let's do that one more time and let's see what happens. One is cardboard. Remember, one is made out of the cardboard paper, and this is just regular paper, so we want to see which works the best. All right, come on, boys and girls. Raise them up, Nema, Junior. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yay, good job. You can see that the paper, which is much lighter, works a lot better. Good job, boys and girls. Fist bump. Good job, fist bump. Oh my, buckaroos, it is time to put the finishing touches of our masterpiece and get ready to move on the trails of our next Catusville destination. When you experiment with the Catusville whirlwind, it reminds you of the time that you were here at the Catusville. And we are going to say our action point for today. You remember what it is?
Uh-huh.
Good job. I will say we are called, and you remember?
We are faithful.
Good job. So let's do it one more time for the boys and girls. We are called, called to be faithful. Yeehaw! One more time, guys. We are called, called to be faithful. Yeehaw! Happy trails, y'all, and see you next time. Let's do the yeehaw. Yeehaw!
Wow, the trading post is always a fun place. I noticed that Rachel and her friends, they had their whirly twirls, and they had theirs already and twirling them around. So if you didn't get a chance to finish it, you can finish it a little bit later, and it's going to be something fun that you could do. You could even take it outside. I like the trading post, but you know, my most favorite place that I like at Catusville is Sunset Canyon, and it's just around the bend. And we're going to learn about prayer, how Jesus wants us to talk to him just like we do our very best friend. So come on, let's go to Sunset Canyon.
Oh, hey there, buckaroos! I was waiting for you. It seemed like you took forever to get here. I wonder if that's how Abraham felt when he was waiting on God to fulfill his promises of giving him a special land and a son. I wonder if there were times when he felt like God had forgotten his promises and was taking too long to answer his prayers. Well, there's one thing for sure. Abraham knew how to stay connected to God, and that's what we're going to do right now. Connect to God. Do you have your cactus flower already made? Good job! Now let's thank God for loving us no matter what. Hold it gently. Instead of talking to God out loud, we're gonna talk to Him in our thinking place up here. Now, we're gonna take our cactus flower and place it on our tree. Remember, you can tape it anywhere you want. I just realized that I haven't given you a proper welcome yet today. Let me fix that right now. Welcome to the second day here at Catusville, where each day we learn a new way that God has called us to follow Jesus. Remember the question I asked earlier? Whether Abraham thought that God was taking too long to keep his promises and answer his prayers? While we can't know the real answer to that question until we meet Abraham in heaven someday, one thing we can know for sure is that God always keeps his promises and he does answer prayers. When you pray, you strengthen your faith in God's promises. The Bible tells us in Matthew 7 verse 7, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. So you see, buckaroos, God always fulfills his promises. We just have to answer his call to be faithful, believing him, and wait on his perfect timing. Which reminds me, we are called
to be faithful.
Now is also the perfect time to practice saying today's portion of our gold nugget found in 2 Timothy 1 verse 9. Let's all say it together. Jesus, who has saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace. Nice job, buckaroos! Buckaroos, each of you need a piece of yarn for our next activity. Remember to take good care of it because we're going to be using it very soon for something fun. As we travel through Catusville today, remember that we are called
To be faithful.
Yes, sirree! God called Abraham to leave his comfortable home and go to a new land. Abraham had to have lots of faith to believe that God would take care of him and get him to his new home safe. Since we're out here in the Wild West, we're going to pretend that our yarn is a lasso. Cowboys use lassos to rope cows and other wild animals. But today, we're going to use our lasso to make a picture. Yep, I've written a word on this here card. Shh, it's a secret. But when you see the word appear, I want you to draw a picture showing how you can be faithful using this word. Let's try it. Here's the secret word. Family. Now, I wonder what picture I could make with my yarn to make everyone think about family. I got it! What did you create with your lasso? Take a picture of it and ask an adult to post it to your church Facebook page with the hashtag VBS 2021. If you're not finished, don't worry, you can always come back to it. Come sit with me for a bit at our Sunset Canyon campfire. I have my prayer journal Did you get yours printed? Put your name on the outside. This journal belongs to you and has all of your thoughts and prayers to God. Let's do it now. Now, I want you to turn to the person nearest to you and hand them your doodles and prayer journal and have them sign their name in it. And while they're doing that, you can sign your name in their journal too. Now, just in case you're all alone, if you have a pet, you can just trace their paw in your journal. What fun! Nice job, buckaroos! I hope you got lots of signatures or paw prints. Now, I have an assignment just for you. I want you to place your journal on your pillows, and before you go to sleep tonight, open your journal and pray for every person who signed your book. Pray that they will be faithful to God's calling. Pray that they will believe in God's promises and trust Him to always take care of them. Buckaroos, our time at Sunset Canyon is almost up. But I hope you had fun making your prayer picture lassos and that they will always remind you of the many ways that God has called you to be faithful. And don't forget to pray for all the people who signed your doodles and prayer journal before you go to sleep tonight. Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Don't forget to take off your Western hats. Let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for the call to be faithful. Thank you for your promises. Thank you for always answering our prayers. Please help us to be faithful in everything we say and do. Thank you for loving us, Jesus. We love you too. We ask all these things in your name. Amen. Yes, sirree, buckaroos. It's been a pleasure being with you. See you tomorrow.
Go back. I really like Sunset Canyon, and I love knowing that we can talk with God. You know, you guys have a prayer journal, and I have a prayer journal too. And I write down people's names that I want to pray for all the time. And maybe this will be a start for you here in Catusville, that not just for this time, that later on you could do the same thing. Remember, your prayer journal is where you draw a picture or write what you want to say to God. So you have your friends, some of you have some friends or brothers or sisters with you now, and they can write their name down in your prayer journal that you can share, and when it's time to pray, you can pray for them. Next, we're going to go to the Wild Horse Corral, and there's always something wild going on there. Let's find out what's going to happen. Here we go. Wild Horse Corral.
And some great listening ears. Yeah! We'll give
instructions on how to do it slow. Then we'll have a medium speed and then a super fast speed. And we'll see if you remember all the steps by yourself. Are you ready? Me too. Let's go, sharpshooters. Yeehaw!
Alright, cowboys and cowgirls, let's get ready to play our game. You got your chair and you got your listening ears?
Okay,
Let's
get in your
do
chairs,
it.
boys and girls.
First instructions is we're going to turn to the left and walk around the chair.
I want to see who's
Now
following
we're going to turn
directions.
to the right and walk around the chair. Good job. Next, you're going to stomp your feet in place. March, march, march. In place, I said. You got to march in place. There you go. Good listening ears. Now sit down. There you go. Take a seat. Take a seat. You ready? Okay, you ready now? All right, clap your hands. Good. Now touch your nose. Now wiggle your fingers. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And tap your toes. Next, you're going to stand up tall and reach for the sky. There you go. Now squat down low. Oh, I said squat down. There you go. Come on, squat. There you go. Squat down low. Now take a bow to the left and take a bow to the right. And do-si-do around your chair. Take a seat. Good job. That was us going slow. Our next one, we're going to go medium speed, so get ready. All right, here we are, medium speed. So you're going to turn to your left. See if you remember. The left. Yeehaw!
Following directions.
Now turn to the right. Now stomp your feet and sit down. Clap your hands. Touch your nose. Good job. You're going to wiggle your fingers. You remembered. Now tap your toes. Good job. Wiggle your nose. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good job. Now stand up tall, reach for the sky. And squat down low. We're squatting, remember? Squat down low. Good. Now you're going to take a bow to the left, take a bow to the right, and do-si-do. There you go. Good listening ears. That was medium speed. Get ready to go fast. Okay, you ready? What's the first one? Show me what's the first one is. Oh, okay. Now you ready? Let's go. What's the first one? Good job. Turn to the left, and then turn to the right. What are you going to do after that? Stomp your feet. Good job. What are you going to do after that? Sit down. Good job. So wiggle your fingers, and then you're going to tap your toes. Stand up tall. Reach for the sky. Squat down low. Oh, where's the bow to? Yeah. Very good. Do-si-do was the last one, and you made it. That was the fastest I've ever seen. Good job. Yeehaw!
Wow! You all did an amazing job. How was it for you when you heard the instructions? Were you able to follow along? Did you remember all the steps at the end? God's instructions aren't quite like that. No, we can learn about His instructions in the Bible. When we follow what the Bible shows us, we're able to be faithful. Now that we've played our game, it's time for us to have some fun on your own. But first, I have something to show you. Hey, what is this? That's right, it's a compass. There are 4 directions on a compass. You got north, you got south, you got east, you got west. Yes,
guys, here's our game. We got north, we got south, we got east, and we got west. Our game is called Four Corners, and you gotta listen. So you ready? If you wore red today, run to the north. If you have a puppy, hop to the south. If you prayed before going to bed, skip to the east. Now, if you ate breakfast this morning, why don't you crab crawl to the west? Look, it's windy out here in the Wild Wild West. There you go, crab crawl. If you have a best friend, tiptoe to the north. Here's a good one. If you like broccoli, take a giant step to the south. Hey, what about if you like to swim? March to the east. Well, if you like to play soccer, you can penguin walk to the west. Hey, did you kiss your mama today? Hopscotch to the north if you did. If you like ice cream, gallop to the south. Gallop, gallop, gallop. Did you brush your teeth today? Well, if you did, run to the east. Ah, that was quick. If you like pineapple, hop to the west. So if you live out in the country, why don't you tiptoe to the north? If you like pizza, wiggle yourself to the south. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There you go. Do you know a memory verse? Well, flap like a chicken to the east. Hey, do you have a sister? Well, why don't you hop on one leg to the west? Do you have a brother? Then crab crawl to the north. And if you like watermelon, penguin walk to the south. There we go, we got marching penguins. If you like math, gallop to the east. Well, how about if you like spaghetti, flap like a chicken to the west. If you like green beans, skip to the north. And if you have a bike, crab crawl to the south. If you like to sing, run to the east. Well, I guess nobody likes to sing.
I see some of you following directions. Good job.
I'm telling you, it's windy. Do you have a pet snake? Hopscotch to the west. Wait, what? Aw, he's just joking. He don't got no pet snake. You know, you can have fun with this game. You can make up your own. So why don't you get ready, play with your mom and pop, and play on your own. Yeehaw! Goodbye now.
Wow, the Wild Horse Corral is always a great place. Now, you may not have a chance to play that game. The directions were in your day 2 packet. So maybe tomorrow you can play this game with mom or dad, brother or sister, or somewhere, because it sounds like a really fun game to play. All right, and we have learned that Abraham followed God because he showed him what direction to go, just like a compass does. Do you know what? I'm starving. So let's head over to the chuck wagon and see what healthy snacks we're going to have. Here we go. Maybe you have your things already. Maybe mom helped you get yours together. Or you can watch and do it later.
Hi friends, welcome back to Chuck Wagon. I see some of you are wearing your Western hats. Yeehaw! Have you downloaded your placement for today? If you have not, do it soon because the activity is amazing. The thing that you have to do here is to find the way to the tents. So we have here Abraham's faithful journey to his new home. So called to be faithful. So make sure you download and do this activity back so you can put it on your table. Right, Jordan? You did very good. So today our Bible story is about Abraham and how God called him to be faithful. God called us to be faithful too, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
We are called. Called to be faithful. Yeehaw! Today our gold nugget is, repeat after me. Jesus who has saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace. Good job. And this is found in 2 Timothy 1:9. God called Abraham to move from his home and away from all his friends to another place where he didn't even know anyone. In fact, Abraham didn't even know where he was going to end up. His job was to trust God and faithfully follow his call. Today, we're gonna make taco on a cup. And this is one of the favorites here in Chop Wagon Snacks. And it's kind of remind us of Abraham's story. Because tacos in a cup, it reminds us that Abraham had to be faithfully packing up everything he owned to travel to a new place that he knew nothing about. So just like our tacos in a cup has all kinds of things in them, Abraham had to pack up all kinds of things with him on his journey. The first thing that we have to do here in Catusville Chop Wagon is to clean our pans. And for this recipe, we're gonna use a clear cup, just like this one. So Jordan is gonna have hers and I'm gonna have mine. So first, what we have to do is we have to put some beans. We're gonna put 1 spoon of beans here. Okay, and the next ingredient, we're gonna put some sour cream. And for mine, this is regular sour cream. And Jordan is gonna use some vegan sour cream, right? Do you like this one? Yeah. So this one is gonna be vegan because she loves the vegan sour cream. Then we're gonna do some salsa. You want some salsa here? No. What about some olives? You like olives? Can you put it on yours? And while she puts the olives, I'm gonna put some onions. I love onions. Do you like onions, Jordan? You want some? No? Okay. What about some tomato? Like every taco needs some tomato. Yeah? Okay. So you can put some tomato. And this is the best thing. For me, this is my favorite. Fresh guacamole. And you know the way that you can do fresh guacamole, you just get an avocado, squeeze some lemon, a little bit of salt, and that's it. You want to put some guacamole? No? And for mine, I'm going to put some regular cheese, and Jordan is going to put some vegan cheese. So can you put it on top? Please? And oh, look how beautiful it looks. My goodness, this looks so good and tasty. Look all those colors. Good job. I love yours. Super, super good. So I'm gonna make some room here for your placemat, the beautiful placemat that you did today. And we're gonna put your tacos on top. Oh, but I forgot something.
I know.
What? Yes, we're gonna put some chips. And these chips are gonna be our fork and spoon to eat this delicious snack. Can you put it over there? Wow, Jordan. Look at hers. It looks so beautiful. Jordan, you did a good job. So, but before we try our snacks, we're going to pray. Okay? Dear Jesus, thank you for this beautiful day. And thank you for guiding Abraham to his new home. Thank you for this food. And love, and we love you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now it's time to eat. Jordan, do you want to try yours?
Yep.
It's time to move on, Buckaroos. Make sure you clean your hands before you move to the next station. Okay? Did you enjoy your food, Jordan? Yes, I hope you really enjoyed making and eating your treat today. And that it helped you remind you that being different is a calling. After all, we are called to be faithful. Yeehaw! Can't wait to see you back tomorrow here in Shop Wagon Snacks. Bye!
Welcome back, Buckaroos and little cowpokes. That was yummy. I'm going to have to make that snack maybe tomorrow. And some of you, if you didn't have a chance to do it this evening, you can do it tomorrow. And it could be your snack tomorrow afternoon. I really enjoy the healthy snacks that we see in the Chuck Wagon. Well, what an exciting time that we've had here in Catusville today. We learned that just like Abraham, we are called what? Called to be faithful. Yeehaw! That's what you want to do. Now remember, how many of you would like to share with a friend or family member about being faithful to Jesus? Call. You can even teach them a song that we've been singing in Catusville. I have decided to follow Jesus. Okay, so stop what you're doing. You're going to stand up and we're going to sing this song. I have decided to follow Jesus. Everybody participating and singing nice and loud.
I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back.
Mute yourselves. Mute yourself.
Though I may wander, I still will follow. Though I may wander, I still will follow. No turning back, no turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. No turning back, no turning back. Will you decide now to follow Jesus? Will you decide now to follow Jesus? Will you decide now to follow Jesus? No turning back, no turning back.
Okay. Don't sit down yet now, little deputies in training. It's time for a quick review. Do you remember the gold nugget? Okay, we're going to stand up and say it and do the motions. I want to see everyone standing up. Okay, our gold nugget that we have. Here we go. Jesus,
Jesus,
who has saved us
who has saved us
and called us
and called us
with a holy calling,
the holy calling,
not according to our works,
Not according to works.
but according to his purpose
That according to his purpose
and grace.
and grace.
2 Timothy 1:9.
2 Timothy 1:9.
Great job. Okay, let's try it again. Jesus,
Jesus,
who has saved us
who has saved us
and called us
and called us
with a holy calling,
with our holy calling,
not according to our works,
not according to our works,
but according to his purpose
but according to his purpose
and grace.
and grace.
2 Timothy 1:9.
2 Timothy 1:9.
Great job.
1:9.
All right, we want to remember that. That sounded really great. You can go ahead and sit down. Now, I want you to think about what we've learned today about following God's call to be faithful. I'm going to ask you a few questions. When you have an answer to response, I want you to share with the people. But we're going to share. So this is the time you can have your mic open because I want us to share the answers to our questions. Okay? So when I ask the question, and then if you have an answer to our question, I want you can just say it out loud. Okay? All right. So our first question is, do you think that Abraham ever found it difficult to be faithful? Why or why not? Okay, can anyone tell me? You can just answer out loud. Do you think it was difficult for Abraham to no. Okay. Why do you think it was? Why do you say that?
Because he had an experience with God and God was his friend.
Okay. All right. So for some reason I couldn't see who said that. Who said that?
Kayla and Jason. No,
Okay.
I didn't say you.
Okay. All right. Because my screen is not showing everybody, so it's hard for me to tell who is talking. All right. Good answer to the question. Let's go to our next question. All right. The next question is. All right. Uh-oh. It's little. The next question is, okay, no, that's not the question. Here we go. Did God always keep his promises to Abraham? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, can someone name a time that we know that God kept his promise to Abraham? What did he do?
He gave him a son. Give him a son.
Gave him yes, that was a promise. He promised he was going to have a baby, and he was an old man. Anybody else with another answer? Did God show him where to go, and he kept his promise that he was going to show him where he was going to go? Yes, he did.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Next question. Think about, now this is really a really important question I want you to think about. It says, think about your daily routine at home, at school, and I want you to think of something specific, a job or something that you do regularly and show that you are being faithful. So I want you to think about something that you do and you faithfully do this all the time. Okay, I'm going to
You can beg
okay, all right.
and obey parents.
Okay. All right, who else could tell me something that you do? Faithfully do. Who has something that they faithfully do all the time? You can unmute yourself and tell me something that you do. Obeying your parents, that's a good answer. Anybody else with an answer? Just answer out loud. Okay, what did you say?
Pray.
Pray. Do you faithfully pray before you go to bed? Good job. I like that answer. Anybody else? Something that you do regularly. That's being faithful, doing something. Anybody else? What about making your bed? Do you do that when you get
Yes.
out? Oh, that's being faithful. That's being faithful. What about um, when you take off your clothes before you go to bed and you put them in the dirty clothes hamper and not on the floor? That's being faithful. Okay. What about at school? Anybody something that you could faithfully do at school?
Do your homework.
Doing your homework. I like that answer. Anybody else? Something faithful you can do at school? Okay, Bupe, what do you have to say? Unmute yourself.
You can listen to your teacher.
I like that answer. Listening to your teacher. Anybody else? Something at school that you can do?
Listening when recess is over.
I like that. When it says time recess is over and you line up right away, that's a good answer. All right. Anybody else? Something that you can do at school? Wow, you guys came up with some great things about being faithful, and we want to remember to do that all the time. Okay, now it's time for you to take out your little leather strap, and moms or dads, whoever's around, I want you to take out our next little character that goes on our little leather strap. Okay? All right. And put our little prairie dog. To remember, he was faithful. The prairie dog is faithful to help taking care of his family. And you want to remember to be faithful too. So just tie it on, because each day we're going to add a new character. So far we've learned how to be, we're going to be different, and that's okay. And we learn to be faithful, and that's all right too, because that's very, very important. Now keep your critters in a safe place to remind you of today's message, and we'll need it tomorrow. Remember that we are called.
We are called.
To do what?
Called to be faithful.
Be
Called
faithful.
to be different.
And different too. Okay, but today is called to be faithful. So I'm going to say we are called, and I want you to say called to be faithful. We are called
To be
faithful.
Yeehaw! Okay.
Yeehaw.
Okay, here we go again. We are called.
We are called to be faithful. Yeehaw.
Wonderful. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. All right. Okay. Mute yourselves, boys and girls. We are about ready to move out. Oh, wow. We've done some fun things today. But I want to remind you that the most important thing God calls us to do is to follow Jesus. One thing we can know for sure is that God loves us so much that he specifically picked you, and he also picked me, that he called us to follow Jesus. Doesn't that make you feel special? I hope so. It makes me feel special. Let's stand, and we're going to sing our theme song one more time. We are called. Stand up and sing. Here we go.
You are special, loved by God. We are His children. We all have a purpose. You are accepted, chosen by God. He takes care of us. We all have a purpose. Jesus.
Wow. Well, buckaroos and little cowpokes, it's time for us to go. But before I say goodbye, I want you to think about what we've been talking about this week. We've been talking all about how we are called to be faithful. Yeehaw! All right, we're going to bow our heads and have our closing prayer. Gracious Father in heaven, thank you for your love and care for us. Let us remember to be faithful. Let us remember that we are different for you. Bless all the boys and girls that are here and bring us back tomorrow, I pray. These things in your Son's name. Amen. Okay, guys, time is over. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yes, okay, stop. I want to tell you, I want you guys to take a picture of yourselves in your kerchief and your hat and have your mom and dad text it to me. Some of you have my number that you can do it. The rest of you, I'll put it in an email. So take those pictures because I want to see them. Abigail and her sisters, they aren't here tonight, but they showed me some really neat pictures of them in their vest and their hat and their scarf. And I want to see yours too. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.